All right, my people, welcome back on to this one. This is our good news reaching us right now. Well, this had been stated why Yoruba nation is inevitable. All right, my people, this is a very strong one reaching us right now on to this one. And this had been said by a lot of people. And then right now, according to what had been gathered, it had been gathered that why the Yorubas are successful wherever they go. Well, in case you missed it, well, today the most influential Nigerians on earth are not President Buhari and then Vice President Oshibajo. They are Wali Adeyemo, who is Deputy Secretary of the Treasury in the cabinet of President Joe Biden, and Kemi Badenoch, who was almost Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and now is that country's Secretary of State for International Trade. All right, and meanwhile, onto this, both in Nigeria and abroad, people of Yoruba descent are the most successful Nigerians. For example, since 1999 to date, a Yoruba man has either been president or vice president, except for the 5 years between 2010 and then 2015. And then outside Nigeria, the highest ranked diaspora Nigerian politicians have been of Yoruba origin. Wali Adeyemo and Kemi Badenoch in business and then industry for out of the 10 wealthiest Nigerians within Nigerian of Yoruba origin. Outside Nigeria, the top two wealthiest diaspora Nigerians are Yoruba in the person of Tope Awotono and then Adebayo Ogunlesi. Well, meanwhile, not only do they have the highest adult literacy in Nigeria, they have also produced the first African military ruler to have successfully and then voluntarily handed over to civilians Olusegun Obasanjo, the first African Nobel laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka, the first Nigerian Pulitzer winner, Dele Olojede, and the Nigerian's first four Grammy Awards winner, including Sade Adu 1986, Babatunde Olatunji 1991, Sikiru Adepoju 1991, and then Seal 1996. So if you want upward mobility in life, you are well advised to study the Yoruba. What are those unique cultural markers that set them apart and then ahead of other black Africans? I am extremely well traveled, and then black Africans are the only people I know who take pride in speaking a foreign language with a perfect accent, even when they can't speak their native languages. But the Yoruba are different, very different. The Yorubas in Nigeria and the diaspora tend to be more tied to their language and culture than to any European languages or cultures. And they do this in a very in your face way. All right, and it is not that they cannot speak English in the crisp British accent or in the twang of an American accent. They can, but they will rather choose to enter a London bus loaded with people, get a phone call, and then answer it speaking in Yoruba as loudly as they can. I have traveled to every continent on earth, and the Yoruba are the only black African people I know who do this. Can you imagine the level of confidence in your culture it takes to do that? Imagine the guts it takes to contest for power within the UK Conservative Party with a name like Kemi, in my opinion, and then I could be wrong. Most other black African females would have changed Kemi to Kiki or some other nonsensical but aesthetically pleasant name. I was shocked out of my reverie when I watched Sade Adu correct an interviewer telling him that her name is Sade, pronounced Sade, and not Sade, pronounced like the word made. Well, that is such a quintessentially Yoruba thing to do. Well, the Yoruba have kept their culture, and then their culture has kept and then is keeping them. The Yoruba will never feel too big to use sir or ma to address someone older than them or even someone younger than them who is in a position of power or authority, and that is why authorities usually prefer them because they stoop to conquer, whereas some others may meet an older person in authority and then approach them with a request using only their first names, such as abrasive culture. All right, oh, and then when such people see the Yoruba succeed easily where they failed forcefully, they often start to call this Omoluabi sycophant. Many people mistake courtesy for psychophancy. Courtesy is the application of good social skills, etiquette and politeness to lubricate social interactions. For example, amongst the British people, you are considered ill-bred and rude if you use a person's first name to address them in a situation where there is no intimacy between the two of you, and when you have not been given that privilege by the person. As a people, the Yoruba naturally honor this concept. It is second nature to them, just like the nature of not starting a conversation with anyone younger or older except you have first greeted them. For example, a Yoruba man may be seriously pressed to use the bathroom to urinate, but no matter how pressed he is unlikely to meet a stranger and say, "Where is the toilet?" They will still greet you with a good morning or afternoon or evening before asking you where the conveniences are. And then it is such social graces that make them such upwardly mobile people that you just want to get along with and then honor them. The Yorubas have embraced both Christianity and Islam, but unlike others who have allowed Jewish or Arabic culture to overwhelm their own culture as a result of accepting those Abrahamic faiths, they retained their culture. A Yoruba Christian or Muslim is more likely to be baptized or settled in Islam with his Yoruba name, and then even if he or she embraced a Hebrew or Arabic name, such names will be given a Yoruba slant. For example, Bashir becomes Yorubized Bashiru, which Abraham and then Ibrahim become Braimon. And then another major misconception in Nigeria is the false belief that the Hausa Fulani are at the top of the power pyramid in Nigeria. This is not true at all, and it is easy to dismantle this myth using facts. In fact, I do not know why the fallacy has persisted this long. Let us look at the facts. In the last 23 years, two Northerners have been president. They are Umaru Musa Yar'Adua or Tuareg origin and then Muhammadu Buhari of Fulani Kanuri origin. The fact is that both of them only became president through the effort of individual Yoruba men. President Yar'Adua did not have the clout to even emerge as a leader in northern Nigeria, let alone the whole nation. At the time he was governor, both Waziri Atiku Abubakar and Muhammadu Buhari had stronger claims to northern preeminence than he did. He rose to power only because God used a sitting president Olusegun Obasanjo to almost force him on Nigerians. Yes, he was a nice man, but he was rather northern. He did not have the alpha male abilities needed to dominate the Nigerian political sphere. His weakness in that regard was compensated by the President Obasanjo, who has enough testosterone for three men. In fact, it was even hard to know who was really contesting in 2007 between Obasanjo and then Yaradua. And then there is the incumbent. Instead of trying to analyze how he rose to power, let me quote the words of Emilokan. Of course, I would be translating from Yoruba to English. If not me that led the war front, Buhari would not have emerged. He contested first, second, and then third times. He lost. He even said on television that he would not contest again. But I went to his home in Katsina. I told him, you would contest and then win, but you would not joke with Yoruba matters. From the above, it is very clear that whereas the Hausa Fulani Kanuri dominated in the 16 years of military rule between 1983 and 1999, the Yoruba have risen to the top post 1999. Some of my readers may point to former President Goodluck Jonathan, but I tell you that God used former President Obasanjo to smoothen his way to power, and the same President Obasanjo was part of the gang up that led to the exit of the greatest of Nigerian presidents from power. And then that is why I laugh when people say that we cannot go from 8 years tenure of one Fulani president to another Fulani president, or that the southeast is the most marginalized part of Nigeria. Not true at all. The most marginalized part of Nigeria and resourcefully the poorest part is the northeast. The Northeast had been shut out of power longer than any other region. By January 15, 2023, the Northeast would have been out of power for exactly 57 years, while the Southeast would have been out of power for 56 years. If we are talking about equity, justice, and fair play, then the time for the Northeast is 2023. Just as the Jonathan presidency placated the Niger Delta, a Northeast presidency will pacify the region and bring peace to Nigeria. And to those who argue that one Fulani cannot hand over to another Fulani, I am not sure that argument is factually and then historically accurate. Tinubu himself boasted that he is the power behind the throne. The last 8 years have not been just a Buhari affair. By Tinubu's admission, it has been a joint project. Tinubu brought the vice president, the secretary to the government of the federation, and then many ministers. Harry Kane took two penalties for England. He scored one, he missed the other, but all people remember is the penalty he missed. Very little or no reference is made to the one he scored in life. You can do 99 good things for people, but all they will remember is the one you did not do. Therefore, stop pleasing people. Please, God, then please yourself, because no matter how much you try to please people, they will find one thing to be displeased about with you. If Yeshua, who was a perfect man, could not please everybody, what makes you think you, an imperfect man, can? All right, my people, and this is what had been said so far on to this one. All right, and then meanwhile, it had been gathered that the Yorubas are everywhere. Yes, so the Yorubas can make it work. Why the Yorubas are successful wherever they go. And the majority of people have actually reacted in different forms. And it had been also said that Yoruba artists alone had won 18 Grammy Awards and then countless Grammy nomination. The next tribe is Igbo with 1 award. Joshua Adesanya and then others had won world-class belts several times than any other tribe in Africa. Yes, so and that is why Yoruba nation is inevitable. All right, my people, this is what had been gathered so far onto this one. Yoruba nation is inevitable. I think that is the utmost I'm hearing right now onto this one. Where majority of things though had actually been said onto this one. Yoruba nation no going back and exactly what it is. What more can we say? Meanwhile, let me have your own take on this, my people, and remember to subscribe for more updates if you are new on this channel. All right, thanks and God bless.